This week on the Media Boss Podcast.
I'll tell you the thing that I've helped my clients to understand is the most important aspect of coaching is not give them all the tools and the tricks and give them all these ideas. It's to actually work on the mindset, getting them to understand that if they can learn to accept the beauty of who they are, the uniqueness of who they are.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Media Boss Podcast. I'm Dr. Barrett Matthews, and man, I've got a treat for you guys. I know you're thinking, Barrett, you're going to say the same thing again. You have a great show, have a great guest. Yes, I do. I can't help it. These people are wonderful, and you know it. As a matter of fact, I want you to make sure you guys leave some reviews for them as well. Let them know that you love them. I think they would love to hear it as much as I would as well. But for those of you who are here for the first time wondering, what is this? Who is this? Whatever. I am Dr. Barrett Matthews of Media Boss Pro. What we do is we turn high achieving leaders, might be yourself, into industry experts or industry icons by leveraging media to make it so that your ideal clients can find you. So if you are an expert yourself, if you are a retired CEO, retired athlete, retired coach, and you're saying, man, I would love to still be relevant, contact us at Media Boss Pro. I'm sure we can help you with that. Now, our podcast here, Media Boss Podcast, what we're doing is we're bringing some of these leaders, some of these experts here to show you how you can be the same thing if you're aspiring to be like them. There may be something you can learn from them, one little nugget you may glean from them and say, you know what, I can do that too. And that's what we're here for, the Media Boss Podcast. What we'd like for you guys to do is to make sure you're sharing this, let everyone know that you are listening or watching the Media Boss Podcast. And we want you to make sure that you definitely leave us some good reviews. Let us know that as well. Now, Media Boss Podcast would not be anything without the GoBox Studio, who is one of our partners here. And if you don't know what a GoBox Studio is, I want you to check out this video right here. Okay, how'd you like that? You like the GoBox Studio? Would you like to get one yourself? Well, hit me up after the podcast, and we can probably make that happen for you. I think we can. I think we can do that. So today, guys, I want to bring my guest to you. I am very, very happy. I've known this man for a few years now. We've worked together for about as long as we've known each other. We've been working together. But here's the thing. It's not about what our work together. It's what he is doing for so many people out there. He is educating people on the aspects of technology. He's educating people on the aspect of speaking. He's educating people on the aspects of leadership. And the great thing about it is he gets to do it with his twin brother as well. So I want to bring you guys my friend, Mr. David Suk Brown. David, welcome to the Media Boss Podcast, my friend.
Barrett, thank you so much for having me. It is indeed a pleasure to spend some time with you and to share with your audience some of the work that I'm doing. Thank you.
And I love it. I'm going to just start off with this, man. How cool is it to work with your brother?
I love being a twin. I know there's always this mystery, this intrigue, and what is it like being a twin? Can you really feel each other's pain? Do you understand each other? Do you compliment each other? It is indeed a blast. I love working with my twin brother. It's what we do to help build our brand, what we do to help bring our work to the leaders and the organizations that we support. It's a blast. Yes, we do fight sometimes. We do make sure we work through our conflict, but more than anything, there's a lot of harmony and a lot that goes into making sure that we bring our very best to the people that we serve.
Well, I don't think that there is a sibling on earth that hasn't fought with the other sibling. So if you say that you haven't, you're lying. We all have. It's just par for the course. I got 3 siblings, so trust me, I get it. We're not twins, but we're still siblings, so it goes with the territory. So you mentioned your brand, so let's talk about that. So tell the audience what you and your brother are doing together.
Well, thank you so much for the question, Barrett. My twin and I both have our own organizations that we run, but we're both focused on organizational training, corporate coaching. I focus more on what I call the soft skills, aka the power skills, And that involves a lot of the public speaking, how to have executive presence, how to handle yourself when you're on stages. My twin, his organization focuses primarily on leadership, coaching, how to train new managers, especially within the technology sector. That's where he pretty much built his entire career around. And then together, our brand built on this aspect of delivering our knowledge, our insight, our coaching through our podcast programs, through our books, and through our speaking opportunities. And so that's what we've done. We've got now out there a couple of books. We've got 4 journals. We've got another book coming out. And it's really designed to drive our ability to show the organizations, show the professionals, the C-suite members that we can support some of their growth initiatives, some of the things that they're trying to accomplish with their own employees, their own growth journeys. That's what we're doing. And so, yes, we've got our books, we've got our podcasts, but this is what we enjoy doing. And plus, it gets to the point where we're having fun again, just getting together, showing the facts, showing our perspectives. But that's what we're doing. We're building our brands of being twins that are known in the space, specifically within technology.
That is so cool because I mean, there are several sets of twins out there, but they're not all working together.
Yeah.
And I know you mentioned you all have different skill sets, different entities, different businesses. What is it that made you say, you know what, we need to bring this together for business?
Well, we felt like it would be fun. First of all, it started with the idea of let's do a podcast and just have some fun. You know, he was living in one part of the country, I was living in another part of the country. We thought it would be fun to get our voices out there, to share our ideas, share some of the work that we're doing, the strategies that we're implementing and giving to companies that we're supporting. And then that grew. Hey, why don't we do more of this together? And why don't we, wait a second, Dave, you've got that aspect. Why don't you apply that to some of the companies that I support? Wait a second, Danny, we've got organizations that we're supporting over here, but you probably have more staff or you have more resources. Could you share that with some of the clients we're supporting? And it just became natural. And then when we started going to conferences together, the whole idea of, wait a second, why don't we give this to our conference attendees? And so that's how it works. So even though we technically focus on our own specific niches, most of our work, I would say the majority of work now is collaborative approach. We're giving them both sides of the house. As a matter of fact, now all my courses and resources are on his LMS platform.
Oh, that's
and
cool.
So we're able to do that and share it together. And that's been a lot of fun.
That sounds like it's a lot of fun. Now, was it always fun? Were there challenges that you two faced in doing that?
I think the challenge was more of his way, his approach, my way, my approach, and figuring out what's going to make the most sense. Because for the most part, I didn't have many clients in the technology sector.
Mm-hmm.
And when I looked at my twin and say, hey, where's the growth going in 2023, 24, 25, it really became apparently clearer that technology leaders, technology organizations, they need probably the most support in soft skills. You can't hide behind the laptop anymore. You can't hide behind the lab and say, I'm working on this new tech. You've got to come to the forefront. You've got to be able to share those ideas, especially with the growth of generative AI, especially with machine learning. You're talking about how can I get my voice out there? And then Danny said, look, it makes more sense for us to work together, to bring our resources together, and to give this to an industry that perhaps needs it more than majority of the other industries out there. How do we get your face in the front? How do we make sure we're sharing it? It's no longer the geeking behind the screen. We've got to get the geeking in the front of the screen.
I like the way you put that. So, and look, there's a little geek in all of us, you know.
That's so true. That's so true.
You know what? It's funny though. You remember when we were younger? That was a bad word to call someone a geek. Now we're like, yeah, I'm a geek. So what?
Everybody loves it now. Yeah, that's so true.
You want to go watch Revenge of the Nerds again? But for those of you who don't know, classic movie from the 80s. But anyway, so David, when it comes to your clientele, and I'm going to speak specifically to your clientele as you and your brother made this transition. How was it for them? Was it a challenge for them? Did you get any pushback? I guess is what I'm asking.
I think for the most part, people get a little taken back by the idea of, do you not know everything? And I love that, because the reality is, if you're going to have any success, you got to refine your niche to where you're known for this aspect in this sector. It does not mean that you can't service any other clients that have different backgrounds, whether it's the financial sector, the educational sector, higher learning. But when you say, look, I am focused on technology, I'm focused on this area, I'm able to still bring in clients from other avenues, where there's nonprofits, et cetera. That's been my passion in the background. And so I think initially the thought is, oh, you can't do everything. No. And you don't want me to do everything, because if I do everything, I'm probably not good at anything. So let me bring in a resource. By the way, I trust them. It's not just a partner that I like. It's my own flesh and blood. We're
Yeah.
genetically, copies of each other in
Yeah,
some way.
right.
Hey, we could do this. So if you don't like the way I do it, let me turn around and come back again, and maybe you'll like it this time. And so it's really brought a different avenue, a different element, different layer that I think has brought a sense of credibility. It's brought more strength to my platform, and it helps our clients, our organizations we're supporting, say, look, I know I could go to you, and if you don't have it, your identical twin will probably have it. And that's helped. So initially, of course, the shock is, "Ooh, you can't do it?" No, yes, we can.
I love that. Like, you're like, okay, oh, there's a hole, he can fill it.
Yeah,
There's a hole, he can fill it. I like that.
exactly.
I want to talk about you and your expertise, because and as if the audience could not tell already, David is an excellent communicator. He's excellent, and he specializes in that. And you help people in communication, especially with the anxiety that they have with that.
Yes.
First of all, talk about the anxiety that people have.
What's interesting about that, Barrett, and thank you for asking that question. We might not want to admit it, but in terms of fear, actual fear, public speaking, the idea of expressing yourself, opening your mouth and speaking, is the number one rated fear in our country. And around the world, it is actually always listed in top 3, 4 in the world. And what we say about this is that there is an aspect of when you get up, or when you have to present, or when you have to speak, that this sense of anxiety overcomes you, and you're overwhelmed, whether it's sweat, whether it's the shaking of the knees, whether it's the voice not knowing how to speak clearly, whether there's a sense of, I'd rather be doing anything else but be here. That often comes up.
Yeah.
And what's interesting about it, being a minister myself, people will say, well, why do you bring this up? Well, people actually say they'd rather be in the casket than delivering the eulogy. That tells you how
Yes.
fearful they are. I'll tell you, the thing that I've helped my clients to understand is the most important aspect of coaching is not give them all the tools and the tricks and give them all these ideas. It's to actually work on the mindset, getting them to understand that if they can learn to accept the beauty of who they are, the uniqueness of who they are, and then understand that you don't have to allow your life, your words, your presentations to be skewed from the aspect of, oh my God, I'm going to fail. Oh my goodness, I'm going to be judged because I'm a fraud. No, if you look at it from the perspective of, they need what you're going to share. They're waiting for you to give them something that they can use of value. They need to hear your voice in a way that only you can deliver it, nobody else. And I can say this, I'm a twin. And then I can help shape and frame how to work through the anxiety. Not to say avoid it, not to say that we don't have it and ignore it, because we do. It's there for a reason. This sense of protection and this heightened awareness is all for us. But if you use it in the right way, you channel the right way, and you learn to work through the things that you can do, such as breathing, meditation, visualization, you overcome this sense of anxiety, you're going to be a confident leader, a confident speaker. And that's what I do. I want to empower organizations and leaders with these communication strategies that can help support and strengthen their culture, can help them to understand that they can have an innovative, positive, growing, productive, profitable workplace, and for them to be able to say, I want to be on any stage I am in, whether it's a one-on-one conversation or thousands. But yes, we've got to work on the mindset. We've got to work on the actualization of who they are, what they're meant to be, and how they deliver that, and then watch them become confident speakers wherever they are, wherever they go.
I love that. I love that. I don't know if you've ever heard Myron Golden talk about the difference in fear and anxiety, and is interesting because he's as for those of you who don't know, he talks about how fear is a present danger.
Yes.
Like there's something that can actually happen to you, a fear, and anxiety is something that we made up in our mind.
Yeah.
And and when he said that to me, because he always said that anxiety is really the cause of procrastination.
Yes, that's true.
And when I thought about it, I'm like, that is so true, because and I catch myself now when I have an anxiety about something. I said, Barrett, you made that up. It's not actually happening. There is no real danger, so it's not a fear. And a lot of people, when it comes to speaking, they say it's a fear, but nothing's going to happen to you.
That's true.
Nothing's going to happen to you. Yeah, you may get sweaty, you may get nervous. That's anxiety. That happens, but And when it's all done, you're still there.
You're still there. Still there.
You're still there. And I guess for people like yourself and myself, it becomes easy because I can tell you're a man that grew up in the church, and you're a man that grew up probably speaking from the time he could speak.
I had to fight a twin to get my voice heard.
There you go. That's a great point. I didn't think about that. But my mother, as soon as I could get up and speak, she had me in front of the church reciting something. So it's nothing for me, but I know a lot of people that's different. So what is one of the main tactics you use to help people overcome such an anxiety for those who didn't grow up like us?
The thing that I would say outside of reframing, we talk about imposter syndrome. We talk about reframing the story you tell yourself, because we all have a story that we tell ourselves. And there could be different versions of the story, but it's the same story. We hit play all the time. And it's just our brain trying to protect us. But if we can rewrite that story, reframe it in a way that serves us, then that's the best approach to helping leaders get on any stage that they may have. I say to begin with mindset and then work in, layer in, like you're making that meringue pie, right? You layer in different things. The thing you want to lay in next is probably an aspect of breathing, learning how to control your breathing. And scientifically, research has shown that if you learn to control your breathing, you can actually lower that sense of tension. You can lower that sense of stress and anxiety, and then you can learn to present yourself in a calmer way, in a manner that sounds confident and increase your influence. So start with reframing the mind, figure out what's the story you're telling yourself, rewrite that story, use affirmation statements if you have to, write it physically out, write it out, and then see it and say it daily, and then go in with different exercises such as breathing, etc., to be able to let yourself get to a point where you're not only calm in your mind, your body's calm, and you're ready to give excitedly to the audience you're serving. So I would say start with that.
I like that. So in your process and working with your clients when it comes to that area, do you find that and on average is a long process, or is it something that you can, because of your skill, that you can help people overcome rather quickly?
I'm glad that you asked that, Barrett, and thank you so much for bringing that up. I would say this from a coaching perspective. You could get online, take any of our courses, and you will learn at your pace. But the reality is, unless you put in the work, unless you practice over and over and over again, you're not going to become more proficient. You're not going to get better at it. Secondly, to add the element of a coach, someone who can see what you don't see, whether you're using a coach from my organization, my twins organization, or you're saying, hey, I want to try something else, bringing in that outside resource. By the way, I think I'm one of the best at it, so please work with me. But when you bring in that outside resource, we have to say, hey, I see that. Let's work on this aspect, or let's work on that aspect. To me, that accelerates the growth. So whatever you can do, invest in yourself, believe in yourself to say, I'm going to set aside 10 minutes a day, 20 minutes a day, an hour a week to work on this. Secondly, let me bring in an outside resource, a coach, for example, someone like Dave Brown, one of his organizational leaders, to work on making sure I'm implementing this in the right way. This is the way you grow the most. So yes, you can get out there and take any course you want, but the reality is it won't stick unless you invest the time and the energy to doing it. And secondly, why not accelerate it, speed that up by bringing someone who only focuses on this area to work through that with you.
I like that. I like that. So Dave, before we wrap up, I want to give you I have a two-sided question. You can pick either side, or you can take both of them. What keeps David Suk Brown up at night, or what is David Suk Brown most excited about?
Those are great questions. What probably keeps me up late at night is the excitement to do all the ideas that have come in my brain, my mind, and get them out there. What I love most, or what I'm excited about most, is when I hear from those that I've worked with, whether they're organizational leaders, business owners, C-suite members, when they say, hey, Dave, look, I'm speaking on stages now. Or David, I'm not afraid to speak. Or I'm not afraid to do my one-on-ones. I'm not worried about what people are going to think about me. That to me brings me the greatest joy, because that means that they've increased their influence. That means they shaped and changed who they are as a leader forevermore, and they've impacted organizations. I mean, even the great Warren Buffett, who doesn't want to take advice from him, said it was the most important skill for any leader today is to work on public speaking. I love that. So the greatest kick I get is when someone says, Dave, I've loved your book. I've loved your resources. I've been able to work on these things. To me, I am more thrilled by that than anything else.
I love it. I love it. So, Dave, before we let you go, I want to make sure that you have the opportunity to let everyone know how to get in touch with you. If there's anything that you want them to take advantage of that you're offering right now.
Well, at the very beginning, you encourage your audience to make sure they were following your program, downloading your program, being an apologist, evangelist for your program.
There you
I would
go.
love the same. We have two programs, Twins Talk It Up, and we have Twins Talk Tech Leadership. Follow those programs. But the other thing is, if you want to come in for a free consultation, go to my website. We have free consultations. I can give you some thoughts as to where you are, maybe give you some positive feedback. And then if that leads to you wanting to work with us, great. That could be our downloadable resources. That could be our courses. It could be our books. Or if you want a one-on-one with one of our team members, we'd love to give that to you. That's DSB leadershipgroup.com. So we say, what is that DSB? It's DSB. It's unique. It's the initials of my name of our group. So DSB leadershipgroup.com. Not being shy about that, but that's what you can do to go get some support.
It's kind of obvious to me what the DSB stands for. I don't know.
Like, what does that mean?
But David, I want to thank you so much for being here with me on Media Boss Podcast, man. You know you're welcome anytime, brother. So love talking to you, and I'm sure the audience got something from me because I know I did. So thank you so much, man.
Thank you so much for having me, Barrett. It's indeed been an honor to be with you.
All right, appreciate it, ladies and gentlemen. That's David Suk Brown. Make sure you check out his podcast; they're incredible. What he didn't even mention is they've been recognized for their podcast, so they're doing some great things. Make sure you guys check them out. Now, remember, guys, I mentioned to you before about getting yourself a GoBox studio. I'm telling you guys, you can light up your whole room. I'm doing this podcast right now using my GoBox studio right now, so you can do the same thing, and it can travel with you. Hit me up if you want to get one, but if you guys are seriously interested in becoming a media boss, what I want you to do is come to my challenge. It's my Make Money from Media Challenge. You want to find out about it? Watch this. Okay, are you guys excited? You want to come to the challenge? All you have to do is go to makemoneyfrommediachallenge.com. Makemoneyfrommediachallenge.com. It's going to be 5 days. I want you guys to get registered. You can see $97 for general admission, $297 for VIP. VIPs, of course, you're going to get more perks. There are prizes going to be given out. So there are going to be vacations giving out. Yes, vacations given out to people. So just understand, you want to come to the Make Money from Media Challenge. So guys, before I wrap up today, I want to thank you all for coming on today. I want to thank David Suk Brown for being my guest today. And before I let you go, I always say this one thing to you. Remember, you are someone special because you are God's vessel. Everybody, take care. We'll see you next time on the Media Boss Podcast.